Hello students, my name is Kavindra Rai and I am PGT Commerce in Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1 Sagar. I welcome you all to my video. In this video, we will going to learn the meaning of share, the types of shares issued by the company, share capital and classification of share capital. So let's start the video. The first topic which we have to start is what is the meaning of share. Students, as you have already studied in class 11th, that to start any business or any form of business organization, we need capital. So, in case of a company, the capital of a company is divided into small units or parts of equal amount, and that smallest unit or part is called a share. Say for example, the total capital of a company is 10 lakh rupees and the capital is divided into 1 lakh share of rupees 10 each. So the smallest unit of the capital of a company is called a share, and the holder of the share are called shareholders. Now we come to the types of shares which are issued by the companies. So this topic also you have studied in class 11th. Company issues two types of shares, the equity shares and the preference shares. So first let us see what is equity shares. The equity shares or ordinary shares are those shares on which the dividend paid after the dividend on fixed rate has been paid to the preference shares. Students, equity shares are also known as ordinary shares because they do not have any preference to get the dividend on fixed rate. As the dividend is paid to the preference shares and what the remaining profit is left out, that is distributed between the equity shareholders as dividend. Now let us see some of the characteristics of equity shares. No fixed rate of dividend. So students, equity shareholders, they do not carry any fixed rate of dividend. Whatever profit is left out with the company, that is distributed among the equity shareholders. Second one, dividend is paid after dividend at a fixed rate is paid on preference shares. It means that preference shareholders have the preference to get the dividend first. After that, what is left out is being paid to the equity shareholders as dividend. Now come to the third one. At the time of liquidation, capital on equity is paid after preference shares have been paid back in full. It means that in case of a winding up of a company, the preference shareholders have the first preference to get their capital paid in full, and after that what is left is being paid to the equity shares. Then next one, they are non-redeemable. It means that equity shareholders will stay with the company till the winding up of the company. They cannot be repaid as preference shareholders can be. Next one, equity shareholders have voting right and thus control the working of the company. Equity shareholders, as you all know, they are the owner of the company and have to participate in the management of the company. They have the right to give their votes and they can interfere in the management of the company. Then the last one, equity shareholders are the real owner of the company. They are the owner of the company and they will stay with the company till the end. Students, now come to preference shares. Preference shares are those shares which carry the following preferential rights. The right to receive dividend at a fixed rate before any dividend is paid on equity shares. It means preference shareholders have the preference to get the dividend at a specific rate before any dividend is paid to the equity shares. And they have the right to get repayment of capital before anything is paid to equity shareholders. It means that preference shareholders have a preference over the equity shareholders to get the dividend and to get the repayment of their capital. Now let us see some of the characteristics of preference shares. Preference shareholders get a fixed rate of dividend. As we have earlier seen that equity shareholders, they do not have any fixed rate of dividend. What is left out is paid to them. But in case of preference shares, preference shareholders get a fixed rate of dividend. They have the priority to get the dividend paid before the equity shareholders. They have the preference as to repayment of capital during liquidation of the company. In case the company is winded up, the preference shareholders have the preference to get their capital back before any amount is paid to equity shareholders. Then next, preference shareholders, they do not have any voting right. They cannot interfere in the management of the company. They do not carry any voting right. Next, according to the Companies Act 2013, the preference shares can be redeemed and the maximum period for which they can be issued is 20 years. That means a preference shareholders can be redeemed for a maximum period of 20 years or within a maximum period of 20 years. Now let's come to the next topic, that is kind of preference shares. Students, preference shares are classified as cumulative or non-cumulative, redeemable or irredeemable, participating or non-participating, convertible or non-convertible. These are the categories in which we classify preference shares. Now let us see one by one. First one is cumulative versus non-cumulative. The holders of cumulative preference shares are entitled to recover the area of preference dividend before any dividend is paid on equity share. For an example, if dividend has not been paid for the accounting year 2007-8 and 8-9 on 10% cumulative preference shares and the company wants to distribute dividend on equity shares for the year 2009 and 10, the dividend on preference shares for 3 years. Well, that means for 2007 and 8, 8 and 9, and 9 and 10 at the rate of 10% per annum, total 30% dividend in all will be paid first to the preference shares before any dividend can be paid on equity shares. It means that in the year of losses, the dividend which is not paid to the preference shareholders will commute and will be paid in the coming years before any dividend is paid to the equity shareholders. Now in case of non-cumulative preference shares, area of dividend do not accumulate and hence if dividend is to be paid on equity shareholders in any year, dividend at a fixed rate for only 1 year will be paid to preference shareholders before equity dividend is paid. For example, in year 2007 and 8, or 8 and 9, if any dividend is not paid to the preference shares, that will not accumulate and will not be paid in the coming years. So students, in case of cumulative preference shares, the dividend for the year of losses will accumulate and will be paid in the coming years. But in case of non-cumulative preference shareholders, they do not have the preference to commute their dividend, and that will not be paid in the coming years. That means it will be a loss for the preference shareholders. To redeemable versus irredeemable preference shares. Redeemable preference shares are those preference shares whose amount can be returned by the company to their holders within the lifetime of the company, subject to the terms of issue and fulfillment of certain legal conditions laid down in section 80 of the Companies Act. It means that in case of redeemable preference shares, company have the option to repay the preference shareholders at any time, subject to the terms of the issue and fulfillment of certain legal conditions laid down in section 80 of the Companies Act. Now, irredeemable preference shares. The irredeemable preference shares are those shares whose amount can be returned only when the company is wound up. That means in case of irredeemable preference share, company can pay or repay the amount to the preference shares only at the time of winding up of the company. The Companies Act 2013 does not permit issue of irredeemable preference shares. According to Companies Act 2013, the Company Act do not permit issue of irredeemable preference shares by the companies. Now come to participating versus non-participating preference shares. Participating preference shares are entitled not only to fixed rate of dividend but also to share in surplus profit which remains after the dividend has been paid to the equity shareholders at a specific rate. The surplus profits are distributed in a certain agreed ratio between the participating preference shareholders and equity shareholders. It means that in case of participating preference shareholder, they get a fixed rate of dividend as well as they are also entitled to get some share in the surplus profit. And the surplus profit that is left out after giving the dividend to the equity shareholders at a specific rate, the surplus profit is distributed between the participating preference shareholders and equity shareholders at an agreed ratio. Now come to non-participating preference shares. Preference shares which do not carry any right to participate in the remaining profit after equity shareholders have been paid dividend are non-participating preference shares. That means non-participating preference shareholders are only entitled to get a fixed rate of dividend. They do not have any option to participate in the surplus profit that is left out after paying the dividend to the equity shareholders at a certain rate. Now come to convertible versus non-convertible. It's very easy. The holders of convertible preference shares enjoys the right to get the preference shares converted into equity shares according to the terms of issue. And in case of non-convertible preference shares, the holders of non-convertible preference shares do not enjoy this right to get their preference shares converted into equity shares. So it's very easy, student. In case of convertible preference shares, the shareholder have the right to convert their preference shares at a specific time into equity shares. While in case of non-convertible preference shares, they do not have any right to convert or to get their shares converted into equity shares. Now come to the next topic, that is types of share capital. So we have already seen the capital of a company is divided into small units or small parts, that is known as share. Now the total capital of the company is divided into various parts. The first one is authorized share capital. The authorized capital is the maximum amount of capital that a company can raise through the issue of shares to the shareholders. It is stated in the Memorandum of Association. For example, suppose a firm has an authorized capital of rupees 50 lakh, then it can issue shares worth up to rupees 50 lakh to its shareholders and cannot issue anything beyond it. It means that authorized capital is the registered capital of the company, which is stated in the Memorandum of Association, and company cannot issue any share more than the authorized capital. Now come to issued capital. Issued capital is that part of authorized capital that is issued for subscription to the public. It is the face value of the shares that have been issued to the shareholders. Issued capital consists of the shares that have been sold to the shareholders against cash or some other consideration. For an example, the total capital of the company is 50 lakh and company have issued only 30 lakh share to the public. So the issued capital will be 30 lakh. It is that part of capital or authorized capital that is being issued by the company to the public. Now come to subscribed capital. As per section 286 of Companies Act 2013, subscribed share capital is that part of issued capital for which company has received subscription from the investors. It is a part of issued capital. So we have already seen authorized capital is the total capital of the company. Issued capital is that part of authorized capital which company have issued to the public for subscription. And subscribed capital is that part of issued capital which is taken up by the public or for which public has subscribed. It includes shares issued for subscription to the public and shares subscribed by signatories to the Memorandum of Association, shares subscribed by the directors as qualifying shares, and shares allotted for other consideration that comes. It means that it includes all the shares. Either they are issued to the public for subscription, or they are being taken away by the signatories or by the directors of the companies, or they are allotted for other consideration than cash. Then called up capital. The amount of share capital shareholders owe but have not paid is referred to as called up capital. Any amount of money that has already been paid by the investor in exchange of shares or stock is paid up capital. Students, called up capital means the amount that is being called up by the companies for the shares that has been subscribed by the public, and out of that the amount that is paid by the public to the company in exchange for shares is known as paid up capital. Paid up share capital is the amount of money a company has received from shareholders in exchange for shares. That means the amount that is paid by the shareholders for exchange of shares is known as paid up capital. Now come to the last one, that is reserve capital. Reserve capital is defined as a part of subscribed uncalled capital which will not be called up until and unless the company goes into liquidation. In other words, it is the portion of share capital that is reserved by the company and which will be utilized only on the happening of a set event. It's very important topic. Reserve capital means that part of uncalled capital which company has kept in reserve, and that capital will only be called up at the time of either liquidation or at the time of any said event. So these are the types of share capital. Thank you student for watching the video.